We're going to complete a sketching technique that will enable us to draw circles and cylinders. Once you've completed your drawing, it should look like this. Now the circle needs to fit inside a square. So what I'm going to do is I've just started off by ghosting over the top of the page to get a parallel line off the top, and then decide on a size for the actual square. Again, ghosting over the edge to get a nice perpendicular line that's vertical, and now I'm estimating as accurately as possible to get a square to draw the circle inside. Now we're going to zoom in a little bit so we can see exactly what I'm doing next. I'm going to draw the diagonals in on the squares you can see here. Again, I turn the page and I'm just rehearsing the line before I commit to the construction line. And next what I'm going to do is I'm going to use that intersection to draw parallel lines, effectively making a crosshair as you can see here. Now, next I'm going to split this line from the outside corner to the middle into thirds for each quarter of the square. Now, this is an estimate, but just do the best you can, and we're going to be using the outside third for constructing the circle, as you'll see. Now we're going to draw the 4 arcs that make up the whole circle. I'm going to turn the page to make it easy, and then using your hand like a compass, you're going to draw the quarter circle as shown. So you're going to come straight off, as you could see the red arrow explaining. Again, turn the page so that you can use your hand like a compass with the palm of your hand on the table, coming straight off and going straight on to the side of the square as you can see here. Again, turn the page and coming straight off that line, turning and going straight on to form a nice fair circle. Again, turning the page to make it easy and coming straight off and going straight on so that you can get the quarter circle as smoothly running into the other quarter circle as possible. Okay, we'll quickly run through that technique again on a second circle just so you can get some more practice and perfect your skills at drawing circles. So first things first, you want to get as good a square as possible. The more accurate the square, the better the circle will turn out. Now, one technique to get an accurate square is just to draw the 3 sides as you can see here, and then on the bottom left hand corner draw a 45-degree line up. So the 2 angles should look the same, and where that line hits the top line, when you draw down, we should end up with a nice square as you can see here. Then again, draw the second diagonal, and that locates the center of the square for us. Okay, we'll move in a little bit closer so we can see better. And of course the next stage is to draw the parallel lines to the horizontal surface and the vertical surface, ghosting over them and then drawing through the center of the square using that intersection, as you can see. And again, estimating the points for the thirds, okay, and it is just an estimate, it's a guide to help us draw the circle. And then once we've got that, we've got everything we need to start drawing the circle. Again, drawing each arc one at a time, so 4 arcs, and using that technique as you can see where you come straight out, start turning and go straight in, so that each arc blends into the next one really smoothly. So coming straight out and then going straight in, so there's effectively no kinks or corners in the arcs, as you can see here. Okay, so for the next, or the third circle, just exactly the same technique. Get a good square, diagonals, crosshairs, thirds, as we know how to do, and then using the same techniques to form each of the 4 arcs. Okay, next we're going to make this circle look like a pipe or a tube. So I'm just going to draw a parallel line to the top here, so ghosting over the bottom, and another parallel line to the bottom, turning the page, and again drawing those parallel lines to each side, and you can see that this forms a square inside the circle, and that's the square we're going to use to form the inside circle. Again, using that technique where we estimate the thirds, okay, on each diagonal line between the outside of the square and the center, and again turning the page and just getting those 4 arcs that blend into each other to form the circle. Once you've completed that, the 3 drawings at the top of the page should be looking like this. Next, we're going to draw a 3-dimensional cylinder, hollow cylinder or tube. So the first thing we're going to do is create out a square box, as you can see here. Okay, so it's square at the front and then it extends back. On the front surface, use exactly the same technique as we've done for all of the 3 circles, as you can see. And then what you're going to do is you're going to repeat that process on the back square like this. So with this one, just keep the lines quite light at the moment. Then you're going to draw a parallel line to the outside of the crate and darken in the cylinder, as you can see. On the front of the cylinder now, I'm using exactly the same technique to draw the circle inside the circle, forming a square, the diagonals, the parallels, and each arc blending into the next, as you can see. Now, to give this shape a little bit of impact, what we're going to do is we're going to render a tone round the cylinder to give the impression that light is shining on it, and this will give it more impact on the page. So I'm going to use that 45-degree line and then create another one just to the left of it, and that will be the highlight where the light's shining down directly. So I've flattened my pencil out so the lead is on the paper at a flatter angle to make it easier to shade in and get a render. I'm applying more pressure on the back edge, as you can see, and then as I come towards that highlight, just lifting the pencil slightly, okay? And again, I'm going over that back edge and just leaving more lead behind to give the impression that there's less light being cast on that back surface. What I'm going to do now, just to make it a bit easier, I'm going to turn the page round so I've got the point of the pencil on that edge there that you can see, and it's just a little easier for me to see when I can see where the point of the lead is. That's why I turned the page around. So again, just applying a bit of a heavier tone here and working round, ending up with a lighter tone once I get to that highlighted point in the cylinder. Again, just going back, leaving more lead behind in this area and working towards the highlighted with less weight on the pencil. Now that I've added that tone, I'm just going to go around the outline again, just to give it that good separation and that definition, so we've got again more impact of the shape coming out of the page. Next, I'm going to apply just a flat constant tone on this surface here. And finally, I'll render the inside of the pipe to indicate the curved surface, and having a highlight on the bottom left, as you can see, with darker areas to indicate where the light is not falling as much. And lastly, I'll just go over the outlines a little bit more to give them some nice definition from the rest of the shape and to give it more impact from the page.